Hello, my name is Thomas Fox and welcome to my Research in Practice presentation. I have chosen to write a dissertation discussing the ever-growing impact that social media is having on the sport industry and what problems have come with it. I have chosen to write a dissertation for my project. I feel as if a dissertation is suited to me because a dissertation demonstrates that I am capable of identifying my own area of interest, able to explore a subject in depth, manage a research project, define a suitable question, and use the appropriate research tools. In addition, I am very invested in this subject and research social media marketing outside of my course at university, which is Sports Business Management. Taking courses that have developed my understanding of the topic, I feel I can link into the sport industry during this dissertation. Because of my interest in social media marketing, I see a potential future career path in this area. Hence, I think this is a good research area for me to pursue. The aim of my dissertation is to find out the main factors that are caused by social media that are affecting the sports industry. My objectives are to examine what social media has done to the mental health of sport players, to come up with solutions to how online abuse can be controlled, and to evaluate business opportunities that social media creates for sport companies. There are many stakeholders to my dissertation. The main stakeholder are sport players who feel the direct impact that social media is having on the sports industry. Furthermore, other key stakeholders include sport viewers, as social media has given spectators of sports a platform to voice their opinion on everything sports related. We saw the power that social media has when recently the European Super League was announced. It was heavily rejected by the majority of football fans, and social media was the main driving factor for fans expressing their views. There is not a lot of literature on this topic, which is a potential gap in the market for me to capitalise on, but I will talk more on this later on in the presentation. Other key stakeholders include broadcasting companies, brands looking to advertise through social media, and social media companies such as Twitter and Instagram. In terms of the academic rationale, the main key topics that I will discuss in the project that I have found literature on are the mental health issues that social media creates with players and fans, online abuse, particularly racial abuse, and how this problem should be tackled, the value of social media to sports nutritionists, and all the business opportunities that social media have created for sports organisations. However, there are two key topics that I will discuss that I have not found any academic literature on. The first topic being how sports stars have social media posts from their younger years leaked, and how it can damage their reputation in nowadays game. For example, James Maddison, a highly rated attacking midfielder for Leicester City, had homophobic tweets leaked on his Twitter account, which were discovered from when he was only 12 years old. However, he faced major backlash for this despite his age, and many people called for the Premier League to fine him and in some cases even ban him from playing for these tweets. The other topic is the European Super League, which I previously mentioned, and how the uproar it caused on social media, and how the fans' reaction made the owners of the respective clubs who initially joined the league to pull out. Finding academic literature on social media and the topics I want to discuss within social media was mostly easy to do. This is because social media has been a controversial topic in recent years, so many authors have written on the opportunities and threats that social media presents to the sports world. My aim in my literature review is to evaluate given literature on the topics I've researched and apply it to the question of how social media has changed the sports industry for the better or for the worse. Throughout my research, there were authors that had written multiple pieces on the topic. The first author I found useful was Bastian Popp, who has written multiple pieces on social media affecting the sports industry. He has discussed two of the topics I plan discussing. Firstly, he has discussed the opportunities social media presents sports brands for growth, and why it's important brands capitalize on social media if they want to expand their business. He also discusses how fans love to hate professional footballers, and that fans rarely think of the consequences that their words might have on them. He further develops that this was still a prominent issue before social media, and how before our times, racial abuse would be sang in crowds towards players such as Ian Wright, and no one would question it. Although abuse was an issue before social media, Pop discusses how social media now allows fans to anonymously send racist messages on platforms. And because no identity is needed to sign up to the most popular social media platforms, such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, it is common for people to not be held accountable for their words and actions. There are other key authors that I have included on the slides on the other topics that will be in my dissertation, such as Brandy Watkins, who discusses the influence of branding and the opportunities social media have for companies in the sports industry, Lee Hall and John Price, who discuss racism on social media. I want my literature review to exploit gaps in the market and bring something new to the discussion of the impact social media is having on the sports industry, whilst also confirming findings from other authors, such as Bastien Pop, who I have previously mentioned. One gap in the market which I have previously mentioned is the European Super League, and how social media was one of the driving factors in them eventually abandoning the idea. I feel this is a key topic to discuss, as it was an event that reminded us all of the power social media has given the people, and not just in sport, but in other areas such as politics. As well as exploiting gaps in the market, I want to confirm findings from other authors, which talk about the growth of social media platforms, and how, for example, 10 years ago, social media did not have the power it has today. This section will focus on research methodology for my dissertation, concerning why social media is having an increasing impact on the sports industry. Primarily, I will use a quantitative approach and not a qualitative one. Quantitative data is a method used to get observable data to answer a research topic using mathematical, statistical, and computational research. There are, however, disadvantages to quantitative data, such as the structure of the survey may be biased and missed data, which could lead to wrong conclusions. Also, another disadvantage would be the lack of content when conducting a survey. This could be asking people who are not interested in the topic, or for me, asking a demographic of people who are not interested in social media and do not have a good understanding of it, which tends to be the elderly. Quantitative research methods require a large sample and do not need a long time to collect data. Quantitative data is dominant in the context of language testing and assessment research. Other positives and negatives to both types of approaches can be seen on this slide. In terms of collecting the data, I will use a multiple choice questionnaire with multiple options as to why social media has seen growth in the sports industry. It will include questions such as what can be done to tackle racism online, with multiple answers and a box where the person being interviewed has an alternate answer. They can put their answer there. A questionnaire is non-personal and allows the user to be anonymous. This makes people more likely to answer the questions. The main advantage of questionnaires is that they are very affordable and do not cost much to make one. This allows you to advertise freely on social media and gain quick responses. They also allow you to gather information from a large audience through distributing to anyone, anywhere in the world. However, there are risks to questionnaires, and these include dishonesty and unanswered questions, which can lead to inaccuracy in results. In terms of data collection tools, the conduction of the research involved will use a semi-structured questionnaire created using Google Forms, a very simple format to create questionnaires. It will be used as an interview guide. Some certain questions were prepared, so as for the researcher to guide the interview towards the satisfaction of research objectives. In terms of sampling, I will use self-selection sampling, which is where participants select to take part. This is a non-probability sampling design, which means individuals are selected based on non-random criteria, and not every individual has a chance of being included. People that respond when using the self-selection method are more likely to be committed to the study, and this can help improve attendance, and there is a greater willingness to provide more insight into the study. The area I am researching is why social media is having an increasing impact on the sports industry. What are these factors? Are they good or bad for the stakeholders involved? And then determining through the methodology what factor has the most impact on social media taking over the sport industry. I aim to do this by creating an online survey that was sent out to students in the hope they would complete the survey, and the results we got from the survey would then be used as data to see what the driving factor behind the growth of social media in the sport industry is. I chose to send the questionnaire to students as they are a demographic which heavily use social media and will have the best understanding of the subject area. I think an online survey over other types of data collection is the safest method due to the coronavirus pandemic. It is the safest option of getting results without putting people at risk. Once I have collected the data from the questionnaires, I will use Microsoft Excel to create graphs displaying their answers to the questions displayed on the survey.